Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Bible Time. And we are looking today at two Psalms, Psalm 24 and Psalm 25. Now, Psalm 24 is part of a trio of Psalms, Psalm 22, 23, and 24. And you got to recognize as you read through the Psalms that they're put together in some kind of an order. And here you see that order in these three Psalms. Psalm 22 talks about Christ's first coming and it details his crucifixion. It's quite a prophecy of that. Psalm 23 talks about his present shepherding of his people, his ongoing shepherding ministry of his people. Psalm 24 is anticipating the return of the king. And verses 3 through 6 describes those believing Jewish people who will be ready when he does return. Who shall ascend to the hill of the Lord when he returns to Jerusalem? Who will stand in his holy place? Well, then it describes them there. And verse 6 it says, "Such is the generation of those who seek him, who seek the face of the God of Jacob." And so this pictures his return, pictures the people who are going to be looking for his return, ready for his return. And then verses 7 through 10, he's entering in through the gates of Jerusalem, the capital city. And he is pictured as being mighty in victory as he comes and secures his victory over all of his enemies. And he is referred to as the Lord of hosts. And we learned recently in a sermon that host refers to armies, the armies that come with him as he comes in victory. And so that's a great psalm concluding this trio of psalms, talking about his death and talking about his current shepherding and talking about his triumphant return. A great set of psalms there. And then in Psalm 25, we see another kind of a psalm. And here's the thing: you see some psalms that are so great and talking about the majesty, the greatness of God, like Psalm 24. And then you see Psalm 25 where it's a much more personal side, and you see David praying for God's protection in his current situation, which encourages you and me to do the same. I mean, and he says there in verse 1, "To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, in you I trust. Let me not be put to shame. Let not my enemies exult over me." And so he's praying for protection. He's lifting up his soul to the Lord, and he trusts in the Lord. He's demonstrating his trust in the Lord to help him with that. And what you really see here in this prayer for protection is a couple of things. He's seeking direction from the Lord. Verse 4 he says, "Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all the day long." So there he's looking to God for direction in this situation that he's in. That's something you and I can relate to. And then you can see he's facing some pretty serious emotional struggles as he's in this situation. Verse 16, he says, "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. The troubles of my heart are enlarged. Bring me out of my distresses. Consider my affliction and my trouble, and forgive all my sins. Consider how many are my foes, and with what violent hatred they hate me. O guard my soul and deliver me. Let me not be put to shame, for I take refuge in you. May integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait for you." So here's this plea, this cry of David for God's protection, and particularly in giving David direction in this situation, and helping him with the emotional turmoil that he's experiencing in this situation. And you'll notice that both of those readings that I just did ended with him talking about waiting for the Lord. And that's an important phrase. We're going to see it frequently throughout the Psalms. And it's not like sitting in the waiting room at the doctor's office where you're waiting to see what's going to happen, what the doctor's going to tell you. That's never been a very comfortable situation for me, sitting in the waiting room. That's not where I want to be. And that's not what it's talking about. Another way you could translate that word wait would be just to use the word hope. There's nothing passive or inactive about waiting on the Lord as it's presented to us in Scripture. It's an active trust, an active anticipation in the Lord's actions on the behalf of David in this case. And so that's what you see. And in Psalm 25, you see an important principle that comes out here, and it will come out again in the Psalms. And it's found in the talk about the fear of the Lord, the fear of the Lord. Verse 12, who is the man who fears the Lord? And you could go back to Psalm 24 even with this, the man who fears the Lord, who sees the God as holy and lifted up and majestic and powerful. And God's got your attention. It says, the man who fears the Lord, him will he instruct in the way he should choose. You want to know which way you should go? You need to be practicing the fear of the Lord. He will lead you. You can trust him. And it goes on to say, his soul shall abide in well-being, and his offspring shall inherit the land. The friendship of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he makes known to them his covenant. This is the thing. At the heart of it, we need to have a proper fear of the Lord, where we understand who he is. We understand how dependent we are on him, and we're paying attention to what he has to say. And so we turn to him in times of trouble. We call out to him. We trust in him to give us the direction that we're looking for and to help us with all of the emotional drama we might be experiencing in the middle of a situation in life. And so you see one psalm exalting the mighty king as he comes to reign on earth. And in the meantime, you see the sheep looking to the shepherd for his protection while we await the return of the king. And so these are great psalms, very practical psalms, all designed to keep us focused on the Lord himself. Great psalms to meditate on, and I trust that you're doing that. So this is a great day, two more great psalms to look at, and we'll see you tomorrow for more Bible time.